Hi, friend. This is the second part of the note from a friend from Tony Robbins. Okay, so lesson 9. Are you up against a wall? Breakthrough with a new metaphor. I am at the end of the road. I can't break through the wall. My head is about to burst. I'm at the crossroad. I struck out. I am floating on air. I am drowning. I am happy as a lark. I've reached my dead end. I'm carrying the world on my shoulders. Life is a bowl of cherries. What do all these statements have in common? They're metaphors. Just what a metaphor. Whenever you describe something as being like something else, you'll create a metaphor. Metaphors are like symbols, a quick way to say a lot. People use metaphor all the time to describe how they feel about all kinds of things. Life is a battle, and life is a beach are two metaphor and two very different way of looking at the world. What goes along with thinking life is a battle? If you describe life that way, you'll probably believe that people are always fighting one another. But if you said life is a beach, you might believe people could have fun together. Metaphor that makes a difference. Behind every metaphor is a system of belief. When you choose a metaphor to describe your life or your situation, you choose the belief it supports too. This is why you want to be careful about the ways you describe your world to yourself or to anyone or anyone else. Two people who have metaphor that I admire are the actors Martin Sheen and his wife, Janet. Their metaphor for humanity is that of one giant family. As a result, they feel the deepest caring and compassion, even for complete strangers. I remember when Martin shared with me the moving story of how his life changed years ago while he was making a movie, Apocalypse Now. Before then, he had seen life as something so to fear. Now he sees it as an intriguing challenge. Why? His new metaphor is life is a mystery. What changed his metaphor? Intense pain. They had been filming under a grueling schedule deep in the jungle of the Philippines. After a restless night, he woke up the next morning and realized he was suffering a massive heart attack. Portions of his body were numbed and paralyzed. He fell in the ground and through nothing but the sheer power of his will, crawled to the door and managed to get help. Through the effort of the film crew, doctor, and even the stunt pilot, Martin was flown to a hospital for emergency care. Janet rushed to his side. He was becoming weaker with each moment. She refused to accept the graveness of his condition. She knew that Martin needed strength. So she smiled brightly at him and said, "It's just a movie, babe. It's only a movie." Martin has told me that in that moment he knew he was going to make it. He couldn't laugh, but he began to smile, and with a smile he began to heal. What a great metaphor. In movies, people don't really die, do they? In movie, you can decide how it all turns out. I can hear you saying, This all sounds great, but right now, I really feel I am, or like I am in the fence. Great, just find the gate to open it. Yeah, you might say, but I'm carrying the weight of the world on my shoulder. So set the world down and move on. How do you describe your world? Is it a test? Is it a struggle? What if it were a dance, or a game, or a flower garden? If life were a dance, what would that mean? You'd be partners, gracefully, movement, and harmony. What if life were a game? It would be fun. It would be a change for you to play with other people. It could even mean there are rules and winners. What if life were a flower garden? Think of the brilliant colors, the alluring fragrance, and the natural beauty. Could you enjoy life a little more in such a garden? What do you think you'd need to do to make your life whatever you want it to be? You must get first. Lesson 10. Ready, set, goal. How setting goals can build your future. When people are achieving extraordinary, seemingly impossible goals, they're often assumed to have been fortunate, in the right place at the right time, or born under a lucky star. You'd have interviewed many of the greatest achievers in the world, and one of the interesting thing I've learned is that each of their incredible accomplishment began with the same first step, which is the setting of a goal. For example, when I met Michael Jordan, I asked him what he thought set him apart from other players, what it was that had advanced him time and time again to personal and team victories. What made him the best? Was it God given talent? Was it skills? Was it strategy? Michael told me, many people had God given talent, and I'm certainly one of them. But what has set me apart through the entire life is that you'll never find anyone more competitive than I am. I will not settle for second in anything. You're probably wondering, as I did, about the source of the phrase competitiveness. One of the turning points occurred when Michael was in 10th grade after a temporary defeat spurred him to strive for a huge goal. You see, what most people don't know that Michael Jordan, Air Jordan, Mr. All-State, All-American, and All-NBA, one of the greatest basketball player of all times, the legend who changed the game forever, didn't even make it in his high school varsity basketball team. On the day Michael was cut from Langley High School, Bucharest, he went home and cried the rest of the afternoon. It would have been easy to give up after the huge disappointment, but instead, he turned his painful experience into a burning desire. He set a higher standard, an even greater goal for himself. He made a real and a powerful decision, one that would shape his destiny and the destiny of the sports. He determined he would not only make the team but also the best player in the court. To achieve this ambitious goal, he did what every other successful man and woman does. He set a goal, then took immense and massive action. During the summer before his junior year, he sought the help of the team's coach, Clifton Hearing. And every morning at 6 a.m., Coach Hearing drove Michael to the court and put him through intensive drills. At about the same time, the budding basketball player grew 6'2". In fact, Michael's desire to achieve his goal was so intense that he even hung on the monkey bars at school, trying to elongate his body because he thought it would help him make the team. This just shows you the power of stretching yourself. Michael practiced every day, and when the time comes, he was chosen to play for the varsity team. He proved a point that his Chicago Bulls coach, Doug Collins, would make about him more than a decade later. The harder you prepare, the luckier you seem to get. Some people are afraid to set goals because they think that they'll be disappointed or fail. What they don't realize is that achieving the goal isn't half as important as setting it, then taking a massive action toward its attainment. The reason for setting a goal is to give your life focus and to move us in the direction we would like to go. Ultimately, whether or not you achieve a goal or not, half is important as the type of person you became in pursuing of it. Choosing a goal may cause only a slight change in your life direction at first. It's like one of those huge freighters at the sea. If the captain shifts course by just a few degrees, it won't be noticeable immediately, but in the several hours or days, this change in direction will bring the ship to a completely different destination. In order to get out of the dumps more than a decade ago, I had to make a lot of changes in direction and set a lot of goals too. As I worked towards all of them, getting in shape, building confidence, etc., I learned something super important. My success depends on doing my best, not just once in a while, but consistently. All people who succeed decided themselves to continue improving. They never satisfied with just doing well. They constantly want to do better. If you dedicated yourself to this philosophy of constant and never-ending improvement, or what I called Can I TM, pronounce Can I, then you can virtually guarantee that you'll not only continue for growing throughout the life, the real source of happiness, but you'll also succeed. By the way, Can I does not mean that you do everything perfectly, nor does it mean that everything changes instantly. The most successful people are those who understand the power of chunking, who don't bite off more than they can chew at one time. In other words, they break a goal down into bite-sized pieces, achievable sub-goals that lead towards the ultimate success they desire. But it's not enough just to set a sub-goal. You have to celebrate the achievement you each small step. This will help you build momentum, and develop habits that will gradually turn into dreams, into reality. We've all heard that a journey of 1,000 miles starts in a simple single step, but we often forgot to remind ourselves of that while we are setting goals. When was the last time you gave yourself a part to the black? Two. When was the last time you gave yourself a pat on the back just for taking a small step in direction you wanted to go? Years ago, I didn't wait until I'd lost all 38 pounds before rewarding myself. At first, just pushing the plate away with food on it was a big deal, a real accomplishment. So, for example, if you just talk to 5 people today about a career move you'll think about making, and you gather information that can help you make decision, then that's 5 steps forward. Even if you don't make that career move today, you are still moving in a new direction. Remember that what you did in the past does not determine what you'll do in the future. As a very famous poem said, you are the master of your fate. You are the captain of your soul. It's up to you. Don't wait to set your goal. Start turning your brighter now, because up ahead, just a short distance away, is your future. A future worth fighting for. What makes some people willing to take action, even when they're feeling down or afraid? Why do certain individuals overcome tremendous obstacle? How do they bounce back from what others call defeat again and again? They have a future worth fighting for a compelling future. Take my friend W. Mitchell, for example. In a terrible motorcycle accident, 2/3 of his body was burnt. As he lay in the hospital, he decided he'd figure out a way to contribute to the people around him, no matter what. Even though his face had been burned beyond recognition, he believed his smile could lighten up. Robbins. Anthony Robbins. So, even though his face had been burned beyond recognition, he believed his smile could light up their world. And it did. He believed he could cheer people up. He could listen to people and comfort them. And he did. A few years later, he was in another accident, this time in the plane. That paralyzed from the waist down, did not give up. No, instead, he noticed a beautiful nurse in the hospital. How could I get a date with her? He said his buddies told him he was nuts. Maybe, he said. Secretly agreed with them, but he didn't stop dreaming. W. Mitchell saw the great future with a beautiful woman. He used his charm, his fine wit, his free spirit, and his dynamic personality to attract her. And he eventually ended up marrying her. Most of people in his position would never have even tried. But he reached for the star and changed his life forever. How did he create his compelling future? He set a goal. that went far beyond what he thought that he could really accomplish. He made a decision that no matter what, he would achieve those goals. He made it believe, able to break the goal down into small bit-sized chunks, tiny minutes, movements that he needed to accomplish daily before he could make the more dynamic moves or movement forward in his life. When you choose a truly inspiring goal, you free the power within yourself to achieve far more than others imagine is possible. You give yourself an incredible opportunity to stretch and goal and grow. Winning start with beginning. Anonymous. There are people we all know, some of them, who seem constantly lost in a fog of confusion. They go one way, then another. They try one thing, then shift to something else. They move down on path, then retreat in the opposite direction. Their problem is simple. They don't know what they want. We can't hit a target if you don't know what it is. What you need to do now is dream, but it's absolutely essential that you do so in a totally focused way. If you said, read this book, it's not going to do you any good. You need to sit down and put your dreams on the paper. Settle into a comfortable place, somewhere you feel secured and completely at ease. Plan to spend at least half an hour or so discovering what you expect to be and do and share and see and create. It could be the most valuable 30 minutes you ever spend. You're going to learn to set goal and determine outcome. You're going to make a map of the road you want to travel your life. You're going to figure out where you want to go and how you expect to get there. Let me start with one major warning. There is no need to put any limitations on what is possible. What would you do if you knew you could not fail? Take a moment to really consider this question. If you were absolutely certain of success, what activities would you pursue? What action would you take? Be specific. The more detailed you are, the more empowering you are to create a result. As you create your list, some of the things you write down will be things you've never even dreamed of before. But you need to decide what you really want, because knowing what you want determines what you will get. Before something happens in the world, it must first happen in your mind. No limits. In the back of the book, you'll find some blank page. You might find them ideal for this goal setting session. Let's get down to business. Pretend it's a holiday season time for giving and receiving abundant of gift. Dream big. Have a you do, be, and share. Imagine the people, feelings, and place you want to be part of your life. Sit down right now, grab your pencil, and start writing. Don't try to figure out how you're going to get there. Just write it down. There are no limits. 2. Now, go over the list you made and estimate when you expect to reach those outcomes. 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. It's helpful to see what sort of a time frame you're operating in. Note how your list came out. Some people find that list they may is dominating by things they want today. Others find their greatest dream are far in the future, in some perfect world of totally successful and fulfillment. But a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And it's important to be aware of the first step as much as the final ones. Number 3. Once you've set some time frames, pick 4 goals that you can realize this year. Pick the things you're most committed to, most excited about, things that would give you the most satisfaction. On another sheet of paper, write them down again, and also write down why you absolutely will achieve them. Why to do something is much more powerful than how. If you get a big enough why, you can always figure out the how. Think not only about yourself but about others in your life as well. How would your family and friends benefit in your achievements, your goal? If you have enough reasons, you can do virtually anything in the world. Number 4. After you've done all this, describe the kind of person you would have to be to attain your goal. Will it take more compassion or more drive? Would you need to go back to school? If, for example, you want to be a teacher, describe what kind of person really has the ability to touch others' life. Train your brain. One of the rules is that whenever I set a goal, I take immediate action to support it. W. Mitchell started smiling at people that day he decided he'd give something in the world. He asked the nurse to go out with him right away. But romance didn't bloom overnight. Progress will be step by step for you too. As your best friend, you would never beat yourself up because you didn't achieve your goal right away, would you? Finally, train your brain so it knows the goal is a happening thing. Twice a day, sit quietly for a few minutes and think about your goal. Imagine that you have already achieved your goal. Feel the pleasure, pride, and excitement of this fulfillment. See and hear all the wonderful details. Feel fantastic, doesn't it? Feel fantastic, doesn't it? Do you believe in this stuff? Yes or no? Kind of. I'd like to provide or prove to you that these tools already do work. So I've made up a kind of game, if you agree, to play it full out. If you agree to meet all challenges with all the determination you have, the reward will be beyond anything you imagine. Are you ready? Then let's meet. Okay, lesson 11. the 10-day mental challenge. If you don't do anything else in this book, at least do this. I call it the 10-day mental challenge. This exercise turned my life right side up. How? It enables me to take control of my mind by not allowing myself to hold one negative thoughts consistently. Are you ready? There are the rules of the game. Or here are the rules of the game. 1. During the next 10 days, refuse to hang on to any crummy thoughts, feelings, questions, words, or metaphor. When you watch yourself or catch yourself focusing on the negative dash end, you will immediately ask yourself questions to get you to a better place. Start with the problem-solving question in page 57. Number 3. When you wake up in the morning, ask yourself the morning power question in page 58. Just before you fall asleep at night, ask yourself the evening power question in page 59. This will do wonders to keep you feeling good. To the next 10 consecutive days, focus completely on solution and not in the problem. Number 5. If you have lousily thought, question, or feeling, don't beat yourself up. Just change it immediately. If you dwell on any of these or more than 5 minutes, however, you must wait until the following morning and start the 10 days over. Start right now. Decide to use all the tools in this book so that you will not dwell on any rotten thoughts or emotion or the next 10 days. For the next 10 days. The goal is here is 10 consecutive days without dwelling on a negative thoughts. Anytime you dwell too long on a negative, you must start over, no matter how many days in a row you'll already met the challenge. I want you to know that the power of this 10-day mental challenge is truly amazing. If you stick with it, it will start parade if benefits of in your life and won't stop. There are just 4 things it will give you. First, it will make you see all the mental habits that hold you back. 2. It will make your brain healthy for powerful, helpful alternative. Number 3, it will give you a tremendous jolt of confidence as you see you can turn your life around. Number 4, it will create a new habit, new standard, and new expectation that will help you grow and enjoy life more and more every day. Welcome to a clearing world. The first time I took the 10-day mental challenge, I lasted only about 2 days. But I can tell you that by holding myself to the higher standard and by persisting until I succeed, the 10-day mental challenge became a life-changing experience. I know that with diligence, it can produce the same level of freedom for you as it has for me. And now I'd like to offer you a different sort of challenge, a special invitation, if you will. We began this book, with the idea that one of the best way to solve our own problem is to create our own happiness. Is the help is to help someone else who's in a tougher position than we are. When people tell me how, first thing I do is help interrupt habitual mindset. I make it a simple request. I want you to forget about your problems for a day or two. Look for something else who is having a rougher time than you are right now and assist the person in making it just a little better. My advice is often met with a look that say, there is no one with bigger problems than I have. But of course, this is but of course this is never true. If you've lost your job, then you find a couple who has lost their son or daughter. If you're struggling to make ends meet, then find someone who is struggling to stay alive on the street. If you're frightening about a missed promotion, find someone huddling on the doorway to seek shelter from the harsh weather, getting sustenance only from soup kitchens. Remember how lucky you are. Chances are there are more than one person out there with a more difficulty challenge than the one you're currently facing. Help out with do two things. One, it will contribute. I feel like something is missing here. I'll check it out later. Okay. It will contribute. It's it will transform you. So take the time and give yourself the gift that comes only to those who give unselfishly. As our time together is coming to an end, I'd like to ask you for a personal favor. Promise me that you'll take care of yourself. The better off you are, the more you'll be able to give to others. Better yet, go beyond just taking care of yourself. Create an ordinary life that which you've added just the extra time, a bit to dedication, commitment, and love. And please write to tell me how you'll use what you've learned here to improve your own or others' life. I look forward to connecting with you personally. Till then, may the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm on your face. May the rain fall soft upon your field. And until we meet again, may God hold you softly in the palm of His hand. Old Irish blessing. God bless. Epilogue. You'll find more information about these ideas in Anthony Robbins' best-selling book, Awaken the Giant Within. Please refer to the following chapters. Decision, the pathway to power. Belief system, the power to create and the power to destroy. How to get what you really want. Question are the answer. The vocabulary of ultimate success. Destroy the block, break down the wall, let go of the rope, and dance your way to success. The power of life metaphor. The magnificent obsession, creating a compelling future. The 10-day mental challenge. For information about how to challenge your diet and have more energy, please see Chapter 10, Energy, the Fuel of Excellence, in Anthony Robbins' first book, Unlimited Power. About the author. For more than 35 years, Anthony Robbins has devoted his life to helping people from around the world discovering and developing their own unique qualities of greatness. Considering the nation leaders in the science of peak performance and the recognition author on the psychology of leadership, negotiation, personal transformation, and organizational turnaround. He has been honored consistently for his strategic intelligence and humanitarian endeavor. Robin has directly impacted the lives of more than 50 million people from more than 100 countries with his best-selling books, multimedia and health products, public speaking, engagement, and live event. He is an internationally best-selling author with with 5 books published in 14 languages, and he is the creator of the first personal and professional development system of all times, the Personal Power. More than 40 million audio tapes have been sold worldwide. Robbins has advised the counseled leader from every walks of life, presidents, political leaders, advocates for humanity, CEOs, and executives of multinational corporations such as IBM, AT&T, American Express, McDonnell Douglas, and the United States Army, psychology world-renowned medical doctors, peak performance athletes, and sport teams such as the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Los Angeles Kings, NBA champion San Antonio Sprout, and America Cup team, the gold medal winning Olympic athletes, and elite coaches, world-class entertainers, teachers, and parents. Anthony Robbins has been honored by Accenture as one of the top 50 business intellectuals in the world, by Harvard Business Press as one of the top 200 business gurus, by American Express one of the top 6 business leaders in the world to coach its entrepreneurial clients, by Forbes as a top 100 celebrity, by Justin Byron White as one of the world's outstanding humanitarians, and by the International Chamber of Commerce as the one of the top 10 outstanding people of the world. Robin's especially passionate is to make the world a better place to live by helping individuals transform the quality of their lives wherever they meet, for fostering relationship with their families, directing their focus on achieving goal, relieving emotion or financial distress, for making profound contribution to their communities and countries. Throughout the year, he has unselfishly given the energy to resource to those in need. His nonprofit Anthony Robbins Foundation had provided support or initiated programs in more than 2,000 schools, 700 prisoners, and 100,000 service organizations and shelters. And it feeds more than 2 million people in 56 countries every year through its International Holiday Basket Parade. Robbins' commitment to create an enduring legacy that will impact the world is surpassed only by his passion for family as a dedicated father of 4 children and a loving husband of his wife, Sage Robbins. About the Anthony Robbins Foundation. The Anthony Robbins Foundation is a non-profit organization created to empower individuals and or organizations to help those most often forgotten by society, the homeless, youth, and elderly, the inmate populations. Along with our international coalition of caring volunteers, we provide the finest resource for inspiration, education, and personal development needed to make a significant difference in the quality of life for these important members of the society. Anthony Robbins created the Anthony Robbins Foundation in 1991 based on the belief that only those who have learned the power of sincere and selfless contribution will experience life's deepest joy through fulfillment. Founding program: the International Basket Brigade. Tony Robbins was a boy of 11 at home one November afternoon when there was a knock at the front door. He answered the door with the father and saw a man holding a basket full of food for a Thanksgiving dinner. Although they couldn't afford a Thanksgiving meal of their own, the man, sensing his father's hesitation, assured the young Tony and his father that the basket wasn't from him, but from a friend, and he was just the delivery person. An unconditional expression of love impressed the young Tony, and he swore he would do well enough in the life to return the favor and pass it on to others. What began more than 30 years ago as Tony Robbins' individual effort to feed two homeless families has now grown into the Anthony Robbins Foundation International Basket Brigade and grassroots program that was grown to see thousands of volunteers providing food, clothing, and other provision to millions of people all over the world. The challenge: life is gift, and all of us must remember that we have the responsibility to give something back. Your contribution can truly make a difference. Please join us now and commit to help people, those less fortunate, enjoy a greater quality of life. The foundation charter is fulfilled through our program for youth and homeless and the disabled. People interested in more information may contact us at this number. And we got on the end page, which is buy this book and you change a life. Read this book and you'll change your own. Note from a Friend is a concise and easy to understand guide to be most powerful and life-changing tool to principle that make Tony Robbins an international leader in peak performance. Since it was first self-published in 1991, this book has been distributed free of charge to hundreds of thousands of people in need as part of Anthony Robbins Foundation. Thanksgiving Basket Brigade, it helps so many individuals overcome the most challenging circumstances that people repeatedly ask to purchase if for themselves and for their friends. Now a classic with one more 500,000 copies in print. Note from a Friend offer understanding and support to readers worldwide. Vintage Tony Robbins, it distilled the complexity of the human potential movement into the single but powerful idea. James Redfield, author of The Celestine Prophecy. Tony Warm's passion and commitment will inspire you to truly master your life and touch others in the process. Kenneth Blanchard, PhD, co-author of the 1 Minute Manager. The author is donating all these royalties from this updated edition to the non-profit Anthony Robbins Foundation, which assists homeless individuals, underprivileged youth, senior citizens, and the prison population. Considered the nation leaders in the science of peak performance and recognition, author in the psychology of leader, negotiations, personal transformation, and organization turnaround. Tony Robbins has been honored consistently by his strategic intelligence, and humanitarian endeavors. For more than 35 years, Robbins has directly impacted the lives of 50 million people from more than 100 countries. With his best-selling books, Ultimate Unlimited Media and Health Products, Public Speaking, Engagement, and Life Events, he is the creator of the number one personal and professional development system of all time, Personal Power. More than 40 million audio tapes have been sold worldwide. Visit the website www.tonyrobbins.com. The end. Have a good day and have a wonderful life. Happy holidays and happy new year 2025.